I'm Paul Perkins with the check of your ag weather. As we get on the backside of high pressure sliding to the east, south winds gust to 30 tomorrow to increase our fire weather concerns to elevated levels. The humidity, though, above 20%, keeps those fire weather concerns below the criteria for a red flag warning. After mostly lighter winds today and highs around 70, we'll see highs tomorrow top out mostly in the mid-80s to the low 90s, even some mid-90s tomorrow over northwest Kansas. With the cold front dropping south, our highs cool to the upper 70s to the mid-80s on Thursday and the mid to upper 70s on Friday. Fire weather concerns remain elevated. Fire weather concerns could return to critical levels Saturday with the warm front ushering in breezy south winds and highs around 90. Those highs level off to around 80 for Sunday and Monday behind the cold front. In our long-term forecast, warmer than normal temperatures continue to be very likely for Nebraska and Kansas Sunday through October 14th. Nebraska and Kansas rainfall Sunday through October 14th, staying below normal. For the month of October, our average temperatures start to cool down significantly in central Nebraska. Average daytime highs cool from the low 70s at the beginning of the month to the upper 50s by Halloween. Average overnight lows at the beginning of October are in the mid-40s in central Nebraska, dropping to the low 30s by the end of the month. Key weather factors the markets are watching include the watch for another tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico, dry weather through the Corn Belt, and chances increasing for wet season rain in central Brazil. Warm and dry weather dominates much of the plains, west, Mississippi Valley, and interior southeast the next 5 days. Across the central and southern plains, the dry and warm to hot weather, not a good combination for wheat establishment, but it is good for harvesting corn and soybeans. Towards the Midwest, the drier forecast favors drying out the soil for field work. Areas of the northern plains that experienced sub-freezing temperatures this morning see mild and breezy weather today, leading to an elevated fire weather threat. Lingering rainfall along the mid-Atlantic coast should subside by the middle of the week. Wet weather, though, persists across Florida's peninsula. Forecasters continue to watch the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico for possible development of a tropical cyclone the next several days. Regardless of how it develops and tracks, increasingly rainy weather should spread across the Gulf of Mexico and could eventually affect portions of the Gulf Coast. Southern Brazil has had good rainfall over recent weeks, and that continues this week. The good rainfall, though, dies out as it gets into central Brazil, but there are signs of more promising rainfall later next week to kickstart soybean planting and lessen the concerns for second crop corn early next year. Argentina expects a more promising chance of widespread rainfall this weekend into next week, but it won't be enough to reverse the drought that's causing significant late plantings. Overseas in Europe, widespread rainfall continues through next week. Soil moisture much improved in Europe. Some areas, though, are dealing with wetness and flooding that's causing issues for wheat planting and corn harvesting. With the check of your ag weather, I'm Paul Perkins.